Designed to help you understand the roles that we as retail traders take on so that you can effectively understand how we can transition into a professional approach. Remember, trading involves substantial risk, and if you are willing to accept the full terms of this agreement, as well as the responsibility for your investments, please move forward with the training now. This lesson will focus on answering the following questions. Before we continue, be sure to pause the video, read through them, and be certain to minimize any distractions. You may be thinking, what is a retail trader? And for some of you, you may be thinking, what is a retail trader? Whether you chose to get started with the foreign exchange market, with cryptocurrency, perhaps you have a background and some knowledge about stocks and bonds and other investments. But retail trading, it's going to directly correlate to the frame and the mindset that you take along this journey. You may have heard at some point that trading doesn't involve a lot of money to get started, that you can learn how to trade in a short amount of time. Perhaps you even heard that trading is easy. And all of these statements are what are going to help us define what a retail trader is. Retail traders at the core must pick a market direction, justify that perspective, and control the risk management strategy. Therefore, retail traders take on the role of an analyst, a trader, and the risk management division. This responsibility of having to consider all angles of your trading and investment decisions. So, what we're going to do is take a look at each role specifically so that we can identify how this relates to you. Thinking about what it means to be a retail trader, you can absolutely find yourself experiencing success as long as you think in probabilities. When you are being the analyst, this is when you become responsible for thinking about potential trade ideas, researching to understand if these ideas could be valid, and then going ahead and planning your entry strategy so that you can capitalize on an investment opportunity. The analyst goes hand in hand with the trader in you because without being able to interpret data, you aren't going to be able to execute. This brings us right into what it means to be the trader, which is acting on these setups that you've identified, managing the process, and trusting that you will make the right decisions with the data that the market makes available in every single moment, such as when the volatility changes or it indicates some sort of reversal sign. When you are considering what it means to be a risk manager, this is simply being mindful of when it's time to close the trade and reevaluate. You may have already taken the time to predefine your reward to risk before you enter the position, and that's going to put you in a much better place because you're taking away the guesswork when you take that extra moment to say, this is what I am thinking of doing. I am now going to plan out what my target could be and how much I'm willing to risk if price does go against me so that you can execute with confidence and conviction to find yourself inside the market. Here we are on TradingView on the 5-minute chart looking at Bitcoin. When you start getting into the smaller time frames, you're only going to be able to see so much information. It can be very helpful for us to identify certain things such as our entries, momentum, to see exactly when it could be the best time to achieve our take profit target. But of course, when we're back testing and going through these smaller time frames, we are susceptible to find gaps in the price as well as different forms of market manipulation because the patterns that we see on these smaller time frames are also going to be identified on the larger ones. Something to make note of is that once you do go to backtest data on a smaller time frame like the 5-minute chart, you're only going to be able to see up until a specific point in history, and then you can continue to scroll, but it's not going to give you any more data. So if we start from right here at the very beginning of all the trading activity that TradingView is going to offer us on BTC USD, we can scroll and we can see exactly what's happened. And it's awesome because we're going to be able to see on the micro level how some of these movements happen. Really good example with this candle opening at 9,300. It went up 200 pips, went all the way down to a low of $8,750, and it closed at 9,236. So in this movement, over a 5-minute window, we saw price go from high to low $750. That 750 pip movement would have caused chaos or potentially generated substantial profits depending on which direction you were trading in at this moment. However, these type of movements are not typical, just like the results you're going to experience when trading in the cryptocurrency markets. And when you are navigating the charts, whether it be on a smaller time frame, whether it be on your mobile device, just be mindful of what time frame you're looking at and develop an understanding of why you are looking at that specific time frame in order to see how that can weigh into your trading decisions. TradingView does offer us quite a few time frames to work with, so it's very important that you take the necessary time to understand how patterns form, and that can be done through backtesting these smaller time frames. But again, do not fall victim to a retail trading mindset. Allow yourself to explore all of the different tools and resources available to you within the charting platform, and you're going to find yourself set up for success. And when you are using the charts, just remember, ask yourself, what role am I currently within? Am I being an analyst and am I looking to define an entry point for my position? Am I being the trader and making sure that my confirmations are still in alignment with what I believe the market could do? And if you are being the risk manager, be sure to consider whatever information the market is giving to you in order to make the most effective decision for that specific situation. In summary, retail trading requires a high level of discipline to actually learn the skill of trading. People go to school for years in order to get a college or university degree, and trading is no different. This is something that, if you allow it to, will change your perspective of reality. And you must effectively learn how to balance being a market analyst, risk manager, and trader simultaneously in order to maximize the probabilities of you experiencing long term success with this. Be sure to leverage the resources made available to you, and the most important thing is to stay plugged in. As you implement the information, ask questions and remain open minded, because all trading requires is persistence, discipline, and acceptance that you can and will learn this skill set.